Democracy has been described in every setting as government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Since 1999, precisely May 29, democracy has taken its stage in Nigeria. Since then, May 29 of every year has been declared as Democracy Day, but it was later under the regime of President Muhammad Buhari was changed to June 12 as Democracy Day nationwide. How was the journey so far? Welcome to Democracy in Action. Today, in our midst, is nobody other person than I should not introduce to you by myself. So you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good day, viewers.
May our viewers know who you are.
Well, I'm Dr. Mohammed Tumala, a 57-year-old Nigerian who is an indigenous of Borno State. I was born and brought up in a village in Goza local government. Dr. Tumala taught most of his time. He read and lectured mathematics at the University of Maiduguri. I also attended the University of Ibadan for my postgraduate studies. I like adventure. I had adventured into politics at a tender age, precisely in 1992, when I contested to the House of Reps. I had also ventured into development work, what is popularly known as NGO work here in Borno State. I had worked on USAID projects that tried to address maternity, child survival, nutrition, HIV and AIDS, and tuberculosis. I joined the Central Bank of Nigeria in 2008, and that's why I still work as one of their directors. So that is precisely what who Mohammed Tumala is.
Well, viewers, that was Dr. Mohammed Tumala, an academician, a university lecturer, and also an upcoming politician. Now, sir, the federal government of Nigeria has declared June 12 as Democracy Day nationwide. What are the significance of that day?
Well, in the history of Nigeria, we don't have any event and activity of national importance that was recorded on June 12 before 1993. Well, there has been a submission of an official report on the investigation of the First Act 1977 expenditure. So we have that as a country, as a record of what occurred on June 12. But the June 12 we are referring to is the June 12 of 1993. What happened was that on that day, there was a presidential election after 10 years of military rule, having disposed a democratically elected president in 1983. The military government then, under the leadership of General Babangida, had put in place a transition program to democracy. It was implemented stage-wise. We started with establishing democratic structures at the local government level. We moved on to the state, and in 1992 we moved on to the federal. In 1992, elections were held into the bicameral legislature, and the legislature was inaugurated, the House of Representatives and the Senate. We had adopted a presidential system of government, and therefore there was an election of the president outstanding, and that was slated for June 12, 1993, between MKO Abiola, on the platform of the SDP and Bashir Tofa on the platform of the NRC. But because I'm talking to a Borno-based television, let me say that that election was very, very, I would say, an important activity to Borno. First, the running mate of the SDP candidate had came from Borno State, Ambassador Babagana Kingibe. And Bashir Tova himself is of Kanuri extraction, even though was born in Kano and bred in Kano. So Borno people looked forward to that election. So it was also not only so important to the nation, but Borno had a peculiar interest in that election. So that's what happened on June 12th. Unfortunately, while the results were being collated, the military government annulled the election. So that is the importance of that date. A democracy that was to be established and truncated on June 12th, 1993.
Okay, sir. Were you part of the June 12 political impasse? If yes, how?
Yes, I was an active participant in that democratic process. First, I was an active member of the Social Democratic Party. Second, I contested to the House of Representatives. I won the election. I was inaugurated as a member of the National Assembly. I voted on June 12th. I supervised the election for my party in my local government. We collated the results, and the results were returned. So I participated in the election process. Now, after the annulment, did I play also another role? Yes. I'm not a fence-sitting person. I usually make my feelings and views known. There were then possibly three options open to Nigerians. The first, and the one that was preferred by all of us, was that the military government revisits the election results and announces it. That did not come to fruition. After that, two options became very clear. One was there should be another election conducted in whatever way, either with a rerun for the candidates or a fresh election. And the other was that the military has outlived their welcome, and so they should leave and an interim national government be established. My view was to conduct another election. Unfortunately, it was a minority view. The people who wanted interim national government had the day. We had an interim national government that didn't leave. But then, that option did not give us democracy earlier, possibly, than the second option, because we got democracy 6 years after 1993.
Okay, there was a saying that democracy is all about government of the people, by the people, and then for the people. In your own opinion, the federal government of Nigeria has declared the June 12th of every year as Democracy Day nationwide in the country. In your own view, what President Muhammadu Buhari did in that regard, is it a welcome development?
Well, you see, it's not about Muhammadu Buhari, the president now. I think it is about celebrating the resilience of Nigerians who came out to vote. And by the way, that election was an open ballot. So you would see hundreds of Nigerians queue up. And they did that for local government election, they did that for states elections, and they did that for National Assembly elections. And that transition was also characterized by shifts in the date of terminal handover. Apart from that, there were a lot of disqualifications of contestants from both parties. So people looked forward to a day when it will finally, or they would finally, have a president. That day came, June 12, 1993. So it's like a farmer who has cultivated and tilted his land. On the day of harvest, you deny such a harvest. So it's about celebrating the resilience of Nigerians who faithfully implemented the transition program. But on the last day, they were denied of the harvest. I think that's what we are celebrating on June 12th.
Yeah. Still on that issue,
Yes.
Chief MKO Abiola and his running mate Ambassador Babagana Kingibe were being immortalized by the federal government. By doing so, does MKO Abiola and Kingibe haven't gotten the denied right before?
Well, first of all, the history of Nigeria will be incomplete without the mention of John 12. And Chief MKO Abiola and Ambassador Babagana Kingibe are two key players. Indeed, Ambassador Babagana Kingibe nurtured the Social Democratic Party as a chairman. So these are people whose names cannot be excluded from the Nigerian history in whatever way you would do it. But of course, it is better late than never.
Well, viewers, you are watching Democracy in Action, and today's edition, our guest is Dr. Mohammed Tumala, a politician, a banker, and a university don per se. So the program continues. Doctor, what are your expectations under the current democratic dispensation?
I have one expectation for democracy. A country where there is peace. A country that is prosperous. A country where citizens will achieve their aspirations. A country where equity will exist. That has been my dream for Nigeria. And I think democracy can lead us there, and that has been my aspiration as far as this democracy is concerned.
Professor Babagana Zulum was a professional engineer, an academician, and a member of the National Institute, but later turned politician and became governor of Borno State. He's clocking 2 years of his administration. So far, so good. A son of the soil. What is your take now?
Well, you see, Professor Zulum, our governor, viewers would definitely know who he is, how he has performed. And I think beyond the borders of Borno State, Nigerians know that we have a performing governor. But I want to look at the performance of Governor Zulum from different view side. Not from the roads he has constructed, not from the schools he has built, and not on other hospitals and so on he has built. I'm looking at the fundamentals of governance. First, the first most important fundamental of governance Governor Zulum is able to achieve within this period of 2 years is the establishment of a roadmap a framework for the development of Borno State in the context of insecurity and in the context of emerging from insecurity. We have never had that before, and I think that is the most important achievement he has made. He has, in fact, even gone beyond creating a 25-year development framework, but has committed to a medium-term strategy, a 10-year strategy, in which hopefully 8 of those years will be under his leadership. So that is a leader that is committing to performance with targets clearly defined. So we've never had that before. So that is his first achievement as far as I'm concerned, if you want Borno to move forward. The second is sustainability of the state, to reduce over-dependence of the state on federally collected revenues. We have seen his reforms in this area. Let me just give an example. The establishment of budgets that is efficiently working. There are two advantages to that. First, government gets revenue. Second, citizens get hold of an instrument to empower them to have access to finance. And having access to finance actually improves your capacity to undertake economic activities. And when you undertake economic activities, you also pay more tax. So that's a very, very great achievement. And there are so many similar reform areas he has undertaken in that area. In the area of sustainability is also the reorientation of the youths away from political thuggery to productive livelihood. Borno was not like this 2 years ago. I'm so happy to see that youths are being redirected to where they should go. Productive life. So I'm happy about that. Now, the third is itself accountability and openness. What else can you use to describe how open Governor Zulum is, how accountable he is? He's somebody who gets straight to the people. He is there whenever his attention is required, despite the fact that he has been attacked several times. So he has gone beyond what you expect from an administrator like him. By the way, I think Professor Zulum wants to be seen as an administrator, not a politician, as you said in your opening.
Yeah. Now that since his assumption of power as governor of Borno State, his main focus was towards reconstruction, rehabilitation, and resettlement bits. You are from Goza local government, as is disclosed first, and Goza is one of the displaced local government area by these insurgents.
Yes.
What was the situation now?
Well, first, he's an engineer, so you expect him to be very passionate about construction. As a commissioner then, in Goza, he undertook a lot of reconstruction work. We have seen that in the last 4 years, coming up in Goshe, coming up in Werebe, in Goza itself, and then giving a boost to Pulka, where we have thousands of internally displaced persons. Under his leadership, the people of Goshe were able to return home. And very soon, the people of Werebe will go back, the people of Ashigeshia will go back, and the people of Kirawa will go back. So, as far as we're concerned, I think we have made tremendous progress. towards restoring our people back to their ancestral homes. We are grateful for that, and we think that should be commended.
Another area of concern to his administration was the closure of all IDP camps in Borno State, hopefully by the end of this year. But towards the end of last month, the governor has started closing down of some few IDP camps in the state, such as the one at Bokolis and the other one at NYSC camp. How did you see these measures?
Well, you see, the situation we have in Borno is a very abnormal situation because you cannot be a refugee in your country. We have up to 6 years now of people being displaced. The facilities you have mentioned are educational facilities that should have been put to use for different purposes or for the purposes for which they have been built. So they are being overstretched. Secondly, caging people in one city actually limits their capabilities to undertake economic activities. And you can see that. The earning power of people have been degraded because they are in camps. And so also will be their spending power. So it's not only the IDPs that are affected, but even people who were initially residents of Maiduguri and who are in a very active economic activity. Today, they cannot sell their goods because people do not have the money, the economic power to purchase such goods and services. So it is a good move to actually not only decongest the city of Maiduguri, but also to open up the economic potentials for our people. It is very, very important that people leave the camps and undertake economic activities in other locations in the country, not only back in their villages, but they could actually even move to other locations, not possibly in large groups, but to be able to undertake economic activities. I have seen that happen for our people from Goza. We have seen them in Nasarawa State, in Taraba State, and in fact, some of them have become very wealthy where they are. And that was because of the decision they took not to remain in camps.
Well, Doctor, for almost over a decade, local government elections has not been conducted in Borno State. Being the third tier of government and a government very close to the people. But Professor Zulum was able to conduct that election during his second year in office, which saw the emergence of 2 university professors as council chairman in Borno State. And he directed them all to go and stay with their people and work for their people as the way he used to do. As a grassroots man, how did you see such action?
Well, it's a positive development. I come from Goza, and one of the professors, Professor Ibrahim, is the chairman of the Council of Goza. And he had remained in Goza since his inauguration. I have seen him lead the front of development in Goza. I have seen him consult the people of Goza, get inputs and so on. The other professor is Professor Aloma in Damboa. I have also been following very keenly what he has been doing. But democracy is a beautiful thing. People own and they have a sense of belonging. It is unfortunate that all the states in the Federation could not ensure that local governments functioned effectively as a third tier of government. Because that's actually where development should reach the people. I hope that moving forward, all the governors, including that of our state, will empower the local governments by ensuring that their allocations, at least that comes from the federal, are made available. I want to assure you that as a retired civil servant, if I had any ambition, what I think that is worth doing is to go back to my people as a local government chairman and work for them. But under the current situation in Nigeria, it becomes very difficult because the funds are not there. In addition to the insecurity we have in the state.
Dr. Tumala, what's your ambition politically?
Well, politically, having been to the House of Reps, my next point of call is the Senate. I am planning, and I'm very hopeful to be in the Senate come 2023 to represent the good people of Southern Borno.
Tumala's ambition is of graduation. Okay, on a final note, any word of advice to the entire people of Borno State, particularly the state government under the leadership of Professor Babagana Umar Azulum, regarding continuous provisions of dividends of democracy?
Well, fortunately for me, the state government and the governor of the state is accessible to me. If I have any advice for the governor and the government, I would usually write it down and pass it on to them, and I've been doing that. Now, for the people, government is not the governor. Government is not the member of House of Assembly. Government is not the commissioner. It is neither the civil servant. It is all of us. So if we must succeed as a state, all of us must be involved in moving our state forward. All of us. So, indigenous of Borno, play your roles and let's move our state forward.
Dr. Tumala, what's your hobby?
My hobby? I told you I read mathematics. Mathematicians don't usually have hobbies. They just sit down and begin to think of very ugly formulas, and sometimes you see them as if they are sick or they are going crazy. So, well, I just like to just sit down and think.
Viewers, that was Dr. Mohammed Musa Tumala, a mathematician and a politician on democracy in action. Dr. Tumala, thank you very much for
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. Well, that's why we draw the curtains of today's edition of the program Democracy in Action. I hope all has been said and has been heard. Happy Democracy Day. On behalf of the entire crew that assisted me in producing and presenting the program, I am Ali Mohamed Shua saying bye for now.